Hey Legends, this is Magnus. How you doing? This video might be a little bit of a long one. Uh, so in this video, I'm just gonna be playing some more Disney Speedstorm, and also giving somewhat, yeah, it'll be a review of Lilo and Stitch live action, and how I feel honestly about it. So. Okay, so in short, as I stated in my content experiment video, I don't have a problem with the Lilo and Stitch. It's because, okay, let me give disclaimers before I start. Might as well. So, first off, as much as like Lilo and Stitch came out in 2002, I was one at the time, and so the movie would have definitely been around my age range and stuff, and I absolutely watched it growing up. I do like the film, but it is not, I am not the biggest fanatic of Lilo and Stitch. Like, it's not my, like, go-to, like, that's my movie, that's my thing. As much as others. Not, and I'm not meaning this in a disrespectful way either. It's just I do love the franchise. I love the Lilo and Stitch franchise. I love the series. I've watched all the films. It's just not the same. Like, I just like other stuff more. And then with that being said, I'm not the biggest fanatic of Stitch, because I know you'd have to be living under specific rocks, or, for example, in other lands where Stitch isn't that popular, to know that in America, and apparently over in the East, in like China and I think Japan as well, Stitch is huge. And at least here in America, it's like he has his own product brand, like he has his own lineup and stuff. And it, I would say it rubs me the wrong way, because one thing, a personal problem I have with Stitch is his blatant favoritism, the blatant favoritism he gets from Disney and the public, honestly, because the movie is called Lilo and Stitch, but there's clearly not as much merchandise or product recognition of Lilo, in my opinion, because the way that Stitch and Angel, the amount of merchandise they have together, you would honestly think that Angel was in the original movie based on how much merchandise she has, despite the fact that, amazingly, it's still a great achievement, she's a TV original character. Heck, she's in Disney Speedstorm, as you've seen if you play the game, or if you saw my previous video and the previous first video with Disney Speedstorm, and you saw like the Lilo and Stitch collection of racers. So to me, despite the love that Lilo already gets, I feel like she does draw short straws in popularity. Yeah, I'm gonna lose this. Almost there. So and then the one who gets even less of recognition, of course, being Nani, which I'll get into it later, is one reason why I love the remake so much, the spotlight that it put on Nani. personally. So, oh, so with that, okay, I think I mentioned what I needed to say. Like, while I enjoy Lilo and Stitch, it's like everyone else. It's not the biggest film in my heart, and in that same vein, I'm not the biggest fanatic of Stitch. So I think, and then okay, then there's another thing. In order to be fair, I need to mention as well. I need to mention this that looks like I know what I'm gonna have to be doing. Finish racing multiplayer. All right, I can do that. And now, yeah, now I'm about to be a complete hypocrite for what I said. What I was saying in my last video, where I don't play multiplayer as much unless I need to or really want to. Okay. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. All right. So, okay, one more disclaimer. I'm gonna get this one because I know this one might give me some flack. In terms of Gantu, I literally reacted to him not being in the movie, or when it was rumored he wasn't in the movie, the same way as the meme I'm referencing right now. Okay, literally, when I heard that rumor, and then when it was just confirmed, and I was literally okay, because to me, Gantu is not a big deal. To me, Gantu is not a big deal, because whenever, to me, he's a great character, don't get me wrong, but I don't feel he's such a pivotal part of Lilo and Stitch. Like, unless you were setting up, if you were setting up the series, if you were setting up something similar to the Lilo and Stitch series, you might, emphasis on might, have a hard setup. And even then, I could say that, even then, I could honestly say, like, you could fix that potential problem with what the movie did. So, because to me, like I said, Gantu to me is not a big deal, and it almost shocks me when Gantu is in media. For example, Disney Speedstorm, or another example, Disney Lorcana, the trading card game. Like, it surprised me that Gantu was in this game as a racer, but it also, and then the double-edged sword to both of those is that, look, Speedstorm is known for, one thing the dev team does often is pick racers that people don't expect as a welcome surprise. One big one being Figment, the Epcot dragon character. We were not, no one was expecting Figment, and some people didn't even know who Figment was when he was announced for the game and stuff like that. So Figment being in the game was a surprise. So when the team did Gantu, it was a bit of a surprise that he would be in the game, a welcome one. But again, I guess I use that, and then with Lorcana, I guess it shouldn't be as much of a surprise in Lorcana because of how many deep cut characters Lorcana pulls in, because it uses characters from the Disney Afternoon lineup. It uses characters from lesser known movies like Sword in the Stone with Arthur, Merlin, Mad Madam Mim. Uses like lesser known characters. Like they have cards of Medusa and Snoops from the Rescuers. And I think it also had now I forget his name, from Rescuers Down Under, the poacher guy from Rescuers Down Under. Oh man, now I feel bad that I can't remember his name. So at least to me, it's always it's a surprise when Gantu is in stuff, and it honestly surprised me how much flack or backlash online people made about Gantu not being in the film, and I'm like, I'm so sorry to Gantu fans right now. Like, I'm certain there are, so I should have been more open-minded. But my initial thought was like, Gantu has fans, and that's not even saying he's a bad character. Like, he's a good character. I'm like, why am I thinking like he doesn't have fans? But it's like, I just never see anything for him. I never see anything for him, so it feels like what? Like, it felt. It was a surprise. It was a surprise seeing the people mad about Gantu not being in the movie. But I literally saw it as, and that was around the same time the rumor that ended up being ultimately false was that, okay, Cobra Bubbles would make a bigger antagonist in the film, but he wasn't the main antagonist. The rumor was that Bubbles would be the main antagonist of the film, which didn't end up being fully true. So when that rumor came out, it was like, okay, they're taking out Gantu because the government's going to be a bigger problem. I mean, I'm like, I was cool with that. I'm fine with that. But yeah, I guess I gotta get into the movie now. I guess I might as well get into the movie. So basically, Gantu not being in the film didn't surprise me. I guess I had a lukewarm reception to the decision. All right, let me get into the film itself. Opens pretty much the same, but the live action remake incorporates a lot of what Lilo and Stitch Has a Glitch does, because instead of it being a rehearsal at the start of the film that they're going to, Lilo is late to a hula performance, which I think is a reference to the hula competition from Stitch Has a Glitch. Myrtle Edmonds is in the film, just very, very, very limited. Like, I think she in turn has the same, like, she appears in the same general scenes, but she doesn't say much. We don't get like a full. I mean, we get a look of her, but it's not as much as the animated show did with her character. So okay, then they approached they kept an aspect of two aspects of Lilo and Myrtle's like dynamic or their rivalry, because Myrtle's still like, she's still somewhat violent with Lilo, and Lilo at least claps back with pushing her off after bumping her down to the floor. As we see in the trailers, she pushes Myrtle off the stage, which which I'm so sorry, but I laughed at because whenever Myrtle in the animated stuff opens her mouth, I'm ready for Lilo to get payback, and that's not a good thing. And that's the double-edged sword problem I feel like the animated franchise has, where it's like listen, like the fact I can't tell you how many times on Instagram especially I've seen like I gladly watch the same clip from Stitch Has a Glitch, Stitch holding Lilo back from fighting Myrtle until she says something. She says Lilo will never be like her mom, and Lilo just said, Stitch says, okay, hey, do it. And like the amount of people in the comments, including me, who are just like, take her down, like and that's the nicest way I could put it, like take her down and stuff. And it's like, we ain't supposed to be supporting kids fighting, or like we should be supporting this, and somehow we do. So let me keep going. And then the bicycle, or the tricycle scene is replaced with a drivable, like self-driving car, not self-driving, like a rideable car, like you'll see in Walmart or Target. So I think that was a nice change, having it be more modern to times. I'd say they got Lilo, the actress who plays Lilo, amazing. She did an amazing job. Many of the things they did with Lilo fit her character, like the change of having her break into a Hawaiian resort in order to be in the hot tub. That fits so well to me. And then freeing chickens, and like not hurting them but freeing them to let them go free, also fits in with her character. Lilo getting kicked out of Hula honestly feels relevant to modern times, because the amount of times that kids that get bullied and fight back end up getting the punishment, like getting suspended or kicked out of school, or when they finally stood up for themselves, and then the school says that was wrong when they didn't do jack, they didn't do anything when they were being bullied. So then when it comes to then what else? Okay, CPS. So the way CPS is depicted in the original film with couple bubbles, and then how it's depicted here, I'm cool with it, because Bubbles says straight up that he's the person. Oh my goodness, that was a mistake. So, sorry, I was looking at the mini map for too long. Dang it. So, gosh darn, a second. All right. So, Bubble says straight up out the gate that I'm the person they call when things go wrong, and things have clearly gone wrong. In the live action remake, it's kind of changed, where it's like they have a CPS worker who has been visiting since the loss of Mr. and Mrs. Pelikai. And Bubbles comes in undercover as a CIA agent, comes undercover as the head of CPS, almost serving the same role, but as a fake. I think the reason I like that change is because with the original Bubbles, he does his job. He's doing his job, but then he also understands how Nani feels. But he's gonna do his job at the end of the day. With and I forget her name. With the CPS worker in the live action remake, it's more of I'm doing my job. She's firm, she's fair and firm with Nani, but because you get to an extent you feel they know each other, or they have an understanding of one another, it comes from more of a I don't want this for. It comes more so of heartfelt, genuine feeling of I don't want this for you or Lilo. I don't want this for either of you. But this is what needs to happen. So, all right. So, keeping it going. Okay. Then, okay. I forgot about the escape. Okay. Going into Lilo and Stitch, I had a feeling that the movie would be like Bumblebee, where the budget is going into the movie is going into the opening and the title character and maybe two others. Like just like with Bumblebee, like the opening of the movie is where a chunk of the money is going to make it look pristine. Then the rest goes to the title character and two others, so that they look movie standard. That they look movie standard throughout. And I would say it very much holds up to that. Now, I will agree with one common complaint with the movie, that despite being longer than the first movie, the live action remake feels rushed. Or it feels either rushed or that it's moving very fast. I will agree on that point. And I think it comes down to a mindset that makes absolute sense, but is also to the film's own detriment. That Disney, to an extent, was expecting that people have seen the first film. So you've seen the first film, and because of that, we don't have to hold your hand through this story. We don't have to hold your hand through it because you've already seen it, whether it be when it first came out, whether you got it on VHS, you got it on DVD, or seen it on streaming or on TV. Like, you've seen this movie, you know how it goes. We don't have to hold your hand. And at the same time, the reason it's to its detriment is that it goes so fast. Because it goes so fast, because it expects you to already know what's going on, it doesn't really slow down. It doesn't often slow down or simmer to hit certain points that, or make points that could have hit harder, hit a little bit less. Because, like, okay, for me, I'm completely fine with this film. I like it. I like what it does. I love some decisions it made. My sister, me and my sister, my younger sister, went to go see the film opening weekend twice with two different groups of friends, and we saw it together. The first, in the first one, she said she was the first viewing. She said she was conflicted with it, and she's much more of a, she's much more a Lilo and Stitch fan, big Lilo and Stitch fan, and a Stitch, like a Stitch fan, like fangirl, like she loves Stitch. So after the second viewing, she told me with full confidence she hates it, that she hates the live action remake, and I'm like, I can understand why. I understand why someone like her, like why her being a fan girl of Lilo and Stitch, like holding the first movie into her, close to her heart, and the meaning of the film, all of that. So since the live action remake changes a lot of that, I can understand her being mad. I can understand that. So when I say I'm not in the camp where I was with, for example, Lion King or Snow White, where it's like people being mad about what they did, and I'm like, I don't understand. And with Lilo and Stitch, I can understand and have personal, like, connection to why. So going forward, let's see. The opening, I think, was excellent. I think what gets you out the gate, of course, being Jumba. I will say, like, I like his design. His design, I think, was great. Like, I like his design. I do think that, just like with Stitch's design, it was dang near perfect, like 99% perfect. The only thing I think would have made it better was if his eyes were a little bit bigger. The blue, like the lighter blue on his body, was a shade darker, and that would probably mean the patch on his back would need to be darker too, and the pink in his ears being a shade darker, where it's more noticeable. Other than that, just those small tweaks to me would have been an absolute perfect transition. But otherwise, he looks just like his animated self. Jumba, I think, like, of course, being animation, like in the animated film, Jumba looks more round and big, where in this one he's still big, but he seems slimmer. And then the voice, I don't got a problem with it. I got used to it immediately. And his character came across as more of a younger version of himself. Like, where this movie possibly, like, I would think that the live action version of Jumba is a younger version of the Jumba in animation. That's how I view it. I can understand that some people wouldn't like how the voice doesn't have the accent, but hopefully I'll get to it over the course of this video. That one thing that I like about this Jumba is how live action Jumba is how this film seems to, how this one feels more like a villain in my eyes. He feels more like a villain to me in this than he does in the animated universe, which, granted, he's a villain turned good guy. But to me in there. Yes, he's clearly an evil genius, but it's like to me he almost doesn't come across as villainous. Just like I don't know, it's a complicated feeling. Um, Pleakley in live action, great, absolutely great. Love how they use his character and the actor who plays him, like voices him and does his human disguise. I just love it. Um, I hope he had fun playing him because to me it seemed like he did. It seemed like he did. And like people, I know people were saying like he's almost a drag queen and drama queen, so we wouldn't get to see him like dressing up. But when he's in his human form, like he has, you constantly see him in different outfits. And I think that was a reference or linking to that, and that's what I love. They still kept that aspect of his character. They just had to do it in a different way. And I like how they did the cloaking technology because at first I thought it would just be a hologram, but the fact that it actually morphs the user into a human, that I think was a nice touch. Because it led to many funny scenes. Okay, let's see. Something I like with Stitch's characterization in the remake, I feel that he comes across as less of a chaotic monster or chaotic piece of destruction. He comes across as more of a mischievous prankster. And there are ups and downs to that decision. Because there are ups and downs to that choice. Because in the animated version, because I watched, like, it happened to be playing on Freeform, I think, like a few days after we saw the remake, and Stitch feels he's much more of, the word I want to use is more of a curse. Darn. He comes across as more of a, I feel like jerk is not the right word. It's too lighthearted to say he was a jerk. He was, I guess, a menace. A menace is a better way to put it, or a delinquent. Like, he was much more volatile in animated form, which makes sense. So having him be more of a mischievous prankster, I think probably makes him more easier to like in this version at first than in the animated film. I think he comes and that's the other problem. Like, it's basically what Despicable Me 1 with Gru. Like, apparently there was talks to make him less villainous in the movie because some of the creatives or execs were worried that people wouldn't like him if he did these horrible villainous things. But Steve Carell, was it? No. Oh my goodness. The voice actor for Gru said no, go into that, like, make him a jerk, because if we simply making him like average person who's annoyed with a lot of stuff instead of a villain that's not a character arc. So I can see where people might say like the animated one gave Stitch a bit more of an arc, but I also feel like this one gave him, while you have a little less to work with as far as his character extreme, in how they bring him to the point of seeing the error of his ways, to me is a better transition in my opinion. Because, for example, the live action remake does something that the first one I feel didn't do. It more so place a spotlight and magnifying glass on his bad actions and makes him sit with it in a way. Because okay, they completely got rid of the Lonely Duckling book. They got rid of that plot piece. And to me, that was for the film's benefit. Because I feel like now with the way that the movie does it, like, it made Stitch approach being alone and being lost as in he doesn't have a family, but which is an understandable course to take. But it could have also, this one takes it more, as we see in the trailers and at the end, Stitch openly admits that he's bad, and that's something that the live action Stitch has a glitch focused more on. Stitch has a glitch because he was glitching, focused a bit more on Stitch being bad and feeling guilt about it. This one brought it to the forefront in here because they focus more on how Stitch focuses more on how Stitch is the source of problems, source of strife, and makes him grapple with that. And the reason he left, to me, in the first film, the reason he left was because he felt like he was being a problem. And the thing was that it took David saying that at the beach, saying he felt they had a chance, and then Stitch came along. That made him look at his actions in that moment. But I would say over and over, like starting at Nani's job when Lilo's basically leaves Stitch hanging, and he makes this face of confusion and wondering why Lilo's leaving him hanging and noticing that she's sad. And to me, that was a start of Stitch seeing the problems that he causes and that he's the problem. And then having Lilo, in my eyes, having Lilo say to Stitch, just because you do bad things doesn't make you bad. Having her tell that to him, something that Nani told her at the start of the film, and then her using it to help Stitch, I think was a great choice, was a great bit, because okay, like in animated Lilo and Stitch, as we know, they have that brief falling out where Lilo calls out Stitch is for ruining everything. Stitch admits his lie that he's an alien, and then Lilo basically hates him for like 5 seconds. In this one, they don't do that, and I feel like that was a good choice, because I don't know, like, I guess to me it was a better choice. It was a better choice to not have that falling out at all. Oh, seeing how brief it is in the original film, like taking it out in here made sense. In the live action made sense. And then let's see. Okay, Jumba calling out Stitch's actions in that climactic fight between the three of them. One, I appreciate how. Okay, another thing, I appreciate how Lilo had a bit more to do in that final fight, where she actively like helped Stitch beat Jumba, whereas in the animated one, she was more okay. She helped with turning Scrub into a bomb. I will say that, but I feel like okay, of course it was played for comedy, but her hitting Jumbo with a broom was ineffective. In this one, having her throw a frying pan at his head and it hitting him, that was to me more helpful and more effective. Like, Lilo had more to do in this final fight, so it felt like more of this was a team effort instead of just Stitch fighting Jumbo by himself. Okay, that reminds me of Shrub. I hope I'm saying the doll's name right. I hope I'm saying it right. I'm sorry. Okay, Shrub has like one appearance in the entire movie, and it's just the Lilo saying she's just recovered from surgery. Like, they minimized Shrub's role in the film, which I'm cool with it. Like if you really like that aspect of Lilo's character, I can get why you would hate how little Shrub gets attention. I could get that, but for me, yeah, I accepted it and just kept watching the film. I just went along with it. Oh wait a minute, I'm at gold. Goodness. Okay, well, how far am I with this? I still got a long way to go. Darn, can't keep going. Okay, I'm basically at a 15-minute mark, so I gotta make this. Gotta almost make it quick. When the race boosting for 30 seconds, finish the race at 3 or higher with Elsa. All right.
Where should we go? See it all.
Let me see. What else? Grand Councilwoman in the film played the exact role she did in the first one. I'm completely cool with it. She looked amazing. Cobra Bubbles, I'm fine with the casting decision. I'm all right with it. Yes, there are actors with that kind of build you could have gotten. You could have gotten, like, for example, say, you could have gotten, I forget his name, the actor for Luke Cage. Okay, the most obvious one to pick probably would have been the default, like, actor pick probably would have been Dwayne Johnson, but especially given his Samoan Hawaiian heritage. That would have been funny, but I'm good. But I'm cool with what they chose to do. Having him be an active CIA agent instead of a former CIA agent is nice. Let's see. But I do feel like him being an active CIA agent was a good touch. I just wish we got a little bit more. If we got a little bit more of him doing CIA work, for example, like just showing a brief look at the lab, like when they were doing the test results of Stitch's fur, stuff like that. But okay, back to the previous point. Having Jumba call out Stitch saying the only reason you picked Lilo was to save your own skin, and Stitch feeling guilty about that and turning himself in for that. That was a humanizing moment for me. Like, apart from the Stitch is bad, like this to me, like in a way redeemed him for everything he's done. Like, it made him look at everything he's done and accept what he did, and willing to give up. Then the house getting destroyed, or it happens. Okay, let me address some of the other things. Miss Tutu, I'm cool with her inclusion. She's just a fun character. To have.
I'm prepared for whatever happens. Let's go.
David. Okay, a lot of people see that. A lot of people mad about how David was played. I think the actor looks great, but okay. So, okay, to me, David in this film is the opposite or a different extreme of what David was in the original film, which was like Guy in the original film. To me, it was like Guy wants girl but can't get the entire word, all the words out. He has to build the confidence to say what he wants to say in a single sentence, and often he's cut off before he could finish. Now, I will say David is more help. I would probably say he's arguably he plays a bit of a more active role in helping Nani in the film. And then live action David is a different extreme of stumble. He wants to say it and he can speak, but he stumbles over his words so many times. Like, he can't speak correctly to where somebody has to tell him to stop. Like, when Nani is anywhere in the vicinity, his brain turns into scrambled eggs. So now, getting Nani a job in the original movie was very helpful. But I also have to say, like, the fact where he said to just call it even, just date me and we can call it even. Whether that be used as a joke, maybe it was used as a joke, but it also comes across as he was still trying to get with Nani, and he's willing to say, hey, if I can get you this job, will you go on a date with me? But in the live action one, I think what they did with him in the movie kind of more than equalizes, like almost surpasses what David in the original movie did, it with being willing to be a legal guardian of Lilo. Willing to be a legal guardian of Lilo. And I do respect the decision to actually have Nani lose custody of Lilo, because granted, it's a somewhat dark thing, but it's like that stuff happens. That stuff happens in real life, and it's like I'm cool with them like taking that route and showing it, and even if it's for fiction's sake, because maybe CPS doesn't work that way, but but a lot of stuff in fiction like we take as reality, so it could be skewed. So I'd have to do research to see like what custody laws there are and stuff, how it works. Okay. What else? One thing my sister mentioned was that at the end with Stitch's "This is my family" speech, she says that it's the exact, they reused the audio line from the original film. Like they didn't have Chris Sanders re-voice it. They just used the exact same lines, and I think I can tell, because when Chris Sanders doing the lines for Stitch in this movie, it's somewhat different. Whereas with the "This is my family," there's this audio of quality, I think, that you hear in this speech that you don't hear in any other of Stitch's lines. I think like there's a slight difference where it's like you can almost tell like this isn't exactly Chris Sanders using the new Stitch voice. This is the old Stitch voice. So I can see that one. But okay, the ending. I personally love the ending because, and overall the film putting a bigger spotlight on Nani, because to me, I don't care what nobody says. The film puts pieces in the background. The original animated one puts pieces in the background but it doesn't say anything of it. It's almost like, I would almost say FNAF 1, where these pieces, like Scott Cawthon put pieces in FNAF 1 for you to see, but it wasn't enough to get the full picture, and you needed more you would need like a sequel or more context or something to get it. The original movie put the trophies in the background of Nani's room, but at least for me, it took breakdown videos from like Super Carlin Brothers or Watso videos, or Isaac Carlson. I think his name is Isaac Carlson, breaking down that those were trophies in the background, and she was likely a surfing champion who gave up being a pro, or the potential to be a pro, to take care of Lilo. And to me, it's like I'm at least willing to guess a number of people didn't notice that either, because you mainly see things from Lilo and Stitch's perspective in the first film. So putting a spotlight on Nani in this film, to me was a great choice, and it's what I was hoping for this remake. I was hoping for that choice. And then the changing of Ohana, I personally am cool with it, and to an extent love it as well, because granted, blood family is strong. I am not denying that. You are hearing this from a family guy, like a guy who loves his family, a man who loves his family to a fault. To my own detriment, I love my family. To my own detriment, I love my family. As y'all likely know, I moved out. I moved from home across like cross country and living on my own right now. But I still take time to talk to my family on video calls, like Nani did with when she went off to college. And I recently went back home for my sister, my very sister, who loves Lilo and Stitch, her high school graduation. And it was such a refreshing thing to be back home and see everyone and to be able to, well, okay, see them physically and hug them and have fun with them physically. So I'm running out of time. So having the message of Ohana mean also community to me wasn't a problem. And I'm like, I don't know why people were mad at that, because how many times have people made the memeable like joke about found family, especially with Vin Diesel or with Fast and Furious. Like we've done that joke and that message so many times, and it's like the Ohana can mean blood family, but what about also meaning like community? Okay, Ariel. Okay, 35. I know I ain't got her at that level. Meg, I can do that.
We can do this together.
So
I'll win it in a Peloponnesian minute.
So I personally love it because the part that Tutu was already saying from the start of the film, yes, Ohana means family and you have responsibility to take care of Lilo, but you also have a responsibility to take care of yourself, to not leave yourself in the dust. And the reason I love that is because I literally went through a moment like that, like 1 or 2 years ago, or before I did this move. I felt like I was stuck, to the point of tears. I felt like I was trapped, like I felt as if I couldn't go out on my own because I felt my family, or my parents at least, needed me. And being the oldest son, I felt like I did not want to put that kind of responsibility on my siblings. I didn't want to put that on my siblings to have to feel like they needed help, mom and dad. And I already feel like my younger sister feels that way, and I hate that, which is why to an extent I still almost regret leaving home for that reason. And it's like I was so close to putting family above my own, above like who I wanted to be, that I put responsibility to family above responsibility to myself. So to me, the Nani message hits home to me, and it speaks to me, even though it's like a Hawaiian message and stuff. As an oldest child and someone who feels great connection to family, it's like I understand what the movie was saying there, and I completely agree with it. Or either, if not completely, 80 to 90% agree with it. So, before this video wraps up, with anything else I can say? If they did leave, Jumba did have that one Angel and Experiment 627 teaser, which was nice and cheeky. Okay, last minute. I honestly thought this movie was going to Disney was going to do their own, this is our Sonic the Hedgehog ripoff and we don't care. I thought there was going to be a post-credit scene where it teased either Dr. Hamsterville or at least Angel, because I'm like, because of how popular Angel is, I thought there was no way they wouldn't do it. I thought they would do a post-credit scene almost like what Sonic 3 did and tease the experiments in a future thing. But seeing as how the movie has done so well for itself, I think a potential sequel can be in talks. Anyway, thank y'all so much for watching this video. What did y'all think of the live action Lilo and Stitch? I know y'all probably gonna have some choice words to say about me, but I'll read them off in the comments. Alright, please comment, like, subscribe, share this video. Hope you enjoyed it. React to my madness. I'll see y'all later.